Welcome to the channel, everyone. So today is the day that I'm going to start on the engine run stand. I got the 427 here pretty much sealed up. Need a few more components to get it to run, but I'm going to start on the engine run stand now. So I found these plans on eBay. I'll link these, but this is basically the stand that this guy built. He has all the dimensions and everything. Like I said, I'll link that so you can go look at it. This stand will fold up so you can save space. I got this basically as kind of a reference and little bit of a little bit of a guide. I've not built an engine stand, so I've been looking around, seeing what everyone else is doing. But I'm going to use this kind of as a reference, but I'm not going to build this exactly like that one. So I'm going to do my own thing like I normally do. And here, well, here's the start of it. I've got that's going to be the frame of it. I'm using 2x2 tubing, 1/8 inch wall. So also picked up these casters. They are pretty heavy duty casters. They are steel with a poly tread, I guess you'd call that. It's got greasable axle there and greasable bearings. You see, it's actually got two rows of bearings there. I've got 4 of those. All of them swivel. All of them have brakes. So I know a lot of people want one front or back to have stationary. And that probably gives you a little more control when you're driving it around or pushing it around. I just wanted a little more maneuverability. When they're all caster, you can really get into some tight spots, and it seems like the shop's always got stuff in here. So I'm going to sacrifice being able to steer it really good versus maneuverability. So if that doesn't work out, I can always take them out and put 2 stationary casters on, but we'll see. That's just what I wanted, so that's what I got. Those will support, I think, 1,000 pounds each. I'll link them. Got them on Amazon, I believe. Anywhere, I'll link it. Wherever I got them, I'll link it. You'll be able to see it. So 1,000 pounds each, 4,000 pounds. This engine stand isn't going to be near that, but I wanted it to be really, really easy to roll. I don't want to fight this thing. I just want it to just roll beautifully. So I kind of got nice, and them are 6-inch, if I didn't say that, 6-inch casters. So another thing before I actually start cutting this steel up and making my frame, this is not going to be like a budget build. I mean, I'm not going to spend a crazy amount of money, but this is not a budget build. I want a nice stand, and I want to be proud of it when I'm done, and I want it to be like a really nice tool that, like I said, I can be proud of, and it looks good, functions good. So this is not a budget. I see a lot of guys trying to make a stand out of nothing with you know, super tight budget, but that's not what I'm doing here. So I guess I'm going to start cutting this tubing up, laying it out for the frame. Okay, so I'm getting my frame all figured out how I want it to be. Trying to figure out where to put everything so I can make this the way I want it, but this is pretty much going to be it. I may push these back a little bit so I can get a nice weld on this deal here. I'm not sure. I'd like it to be square like that, but we'll see. Also have these tubes right here. I'm going to weld inside the frame, and this is going to be my where the piece comes across here and goes up to the motor mounts. That's what this is going to be. I'll be able to slide this around to, you know, adjust it to different motors. I don't think I'm going to be running anything but a small block and a big block anyway, but I'm going to make a little bit of adjustability in this stand. Not a ton, because I feel like I'm wasting my time. Because like I said, the only thing that'll ever be on this thing is probably a big block, small block Chevy. So I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time drilling holes and making all kinds of adjustability and then never ever use it, because it's just wasting my time. So okay, so the length of this thing, I chose to go 4 feet long, and then it's 28 inches wide. So just some easy measurements is the only reason I chose them measurements. Just nice, easy. If I ever got to find the center of the stand here, 28 inches wide, so it's 14 inches, you know, is the center. So that's why I chose the measurements. Okay, so got my frame all welded together, and I've got my cross member. This is just tacked into place, but you can see how that's going to slide. You're going to be able to slide that forward and back. So yeah, I'm never going to be able to get it off because it's going to be welded in there, but so now I'm working on wheels. I'm trying to get this thing so I can roll it around. I've got my pads. I got a couple of these made, and they're just going to go like this on the corners of the stand. I was thinking about just welding them on there, but this is a more professional way to do it. Got to drill a whole bunch of holes in this thick metal. This is probably thicker than you really need, but this metal's been sitting over in our metal pile for so long it's starting to get all rusty, so might as well use it. So like I said, probably way thicker than you need. Anyway, I made one, and then I've been just transferring over. Actually, that was the first one I made, and then I cut these out. These are 4 by 4.5 pads. Depending on what wheel you have. They might be universal. I'm not sure if the pads are universal or not, but anyway, just I'm clamping them together using I don't know what kind of a punch this is, but it fits right inside the circle or the hole, so there's no mistaking the center of it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm marking that, and then I'm making it bigger so I can see it really good with another punch. But yeah, just stacking it on there, copying it, drilling it. So I'm going to be drilling here for a little while, but then I'm going to weld these pads on here like this. All four corners. Got all my caster pads done. I got them drilled out. Now they're welded on the bottom side. Right now I got to flip this thing over. I'm trying to be easy and weld, let it cool, and then kind of move around so I don't warp the crap out of this thing. Got my cross member welded. Again, I'm trying to take it easy and weld around, do this, and just don't want this thing all warped out of shape. But yeah, it's turning out good so far. So there it is on the ground with the casters on it. Not real sure about these casters yet. I'll have to see when I get some weight on them how they roll. Well, actually they roll super nice. The swivel action doesn't seem to be as smooth as I would like. But like I said, once I get some more weight on it, I'll make my decision on if I like these casters or not. I did grease them. I'm not sure I like how they grease. I think I got more grease all over the wheels than I got into the bearings, but we'll see. I guess I'll wait to put judgment on them when there's a 700-pound big block on it. But it seems to roll okay right now. So I gotta move on. Here's my sliding cross member. You can kind of see how that works too. And I got my locking bolts. That's just once there's a big old motor hanging on it, I don't think that's gonna move much, but I just wanted to make sure I could lock it in place. So I'm gonna work on the bell housing mount now. I'll show you. I got a bell housing for this. So here's the bell housing I picked up. It's a used one. It's aluminum, so it's nice and light. It's actually I believe it's 73 to 86. I believe the guy said it'll go on to, I guess, the 3 and 4 speed manual transmissions. You can see it's got a ball here. I don't really need that for the clutch linkage. There's actually the deal in there for the clutch fork and everything. So this would actually probably be a good piece to use. It would actually, I think it would bolt onto the transmission that's in the 70 truck. But really this is just for the engine stand. This will fit a small block, big block. So it's I got it for the engine stand so we could have something to mount. It's actually a pretty nice piece though. Probably didn't have to get something this nice for the engine stand, but like I said, I want something nice. I want a nice tool. So anyway, you got big old bolt holes. There's 4 of them on the back of this bell housing. Obviously this bolts to the motor. So I just got this heavy angle iron. I drilled some holes to match these bottom holes, and I'm just gonna bolt it down like this. And then my plan is to come off of here with some tubing and go down to the frame of the engine stand. So that's my my idea right now. Probably some of you wonder why not grab all the holes. I don't think that's necessary for a run stand. This I've seen a lot of professional built engine stands, and a lot of them only grab 2 holes on this bell housing. So I mean, they are big. I mean, these are big bolts, so I don't see why 2 of these won't hold. So the time has come. I got to get this engine mocked up on my run stand. I got a flex plate I'm going to install before I install the bell housing. Just got a cheap Pioneer bell housing. It's pretty cheap. All I want that flex plate for is something for the starter to turn the motor over. I have no idea what this thing is going in, so I can't really plan it out. I got some ARP bolts to bolt this on. Again, ARP comes with their lubricant and their instructions. And they want, well, normally you'd put Loctite on the threads, and you put a little bit of their assembly lube on the back side of the bolt. And then it says torque to 75 foot-pounds in a crisscross pattern. I'm not going to use Loctite because, like I said before, I don't know what this is going in. I don't know if this is getting a flex plate or a flywheel. All I want is something for the starter to grab a hold of to turn this thing over. So I'm going to get the flex plate installed, and I'm going to get the bell housing installed, and then we'll roll my stand over here and try to get this thing mocked up. Okay, so I think that's the height I want the motor to be. I don't want it too high. The radiator's got to be a little higher because it's got to be the highest point of the cooling system. So I don't want that too high. I want the headers not to be on the ground either. If you use like a long tube header, maybe I'll lower it maybe a half an inch. Maybe a half an inch I'll go down. But yeah, now I gotta figure out I'm gonna figure out my rear mount first. I'll get that on. And then we'll go to the front mounts. I think I got some ideas how to make this thing kind of universal. So, yeah, the bell housing. You don't need a bell housing. I see a lot of guys running engine stands without bell housings, but I kind of like that flex plate or your flywheel. I kind of like that covered. I mean, because that thing's really going to be spinning. You know, if you get close to it and get your shirt caught in there or something, it would be a bad thing. So, kind of like the bell housing on there to have a little more protection. You don't need that though. I've seen a lot of guys run without that. But anyway, I got to figure out my tubing here. When I figure something out, I'll come back. Okay, so you can see I've got the rear mount done. This will actually slide over top of the frame, and then these bolts will lock it on. And I just welded to the angle iron there. I'll probably cap this off or something somehow. And then, yeah, it's pretty much welded up for that one. And then on the frame here, I welded some ears on here. And my idea is to have another tubing go up, and then I'm going to weld a nut on top of that, and I'll have this 1-inch rod. We use this stuff on the Oliver crawlers. This is actually used for the tightener on the track. It's a 1-inch threaded rod, and then I got a big nut, and I'll be able to turn that to adjust the height. But a little bit of adjustability, not a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna get to making the rest of this stuff, and then I'll be able to hopefully shortly drop the motor on there and the other parts. And so I've got my uprights made, and this is heavy duty, this is thick. And the only reason I did that was because these nuts fit better on top of this. Otherwise I would have used this thinner stuff. But it was just easier to use the thicker stuff, and then it was easier to weld my nut on there. Okay, so then I've got the rod here, and that's going to thread in here. And I got like 7 inches of adjustability. I don't really know why I need that, but the rod's gonna sit inside here anyway, so I figured why not make it adjustable that much. So then I've got these pieces right here that are gonna go to my motor mount. Had to kind of make them up because I didn't have nothing that would fit. And then I'm gonna weld that on top of the rod there, and that'll go to the motor mount. I'll show you here in a second once I get it all together. So there it is, finally, engine installed on the frame. So pretty happy with how everything turned out. I think it's pretty heavy duty. I mean, this is probably the heaviest thing it'll see. I think a big block cast iron heads, I think you're looking at 700 pounds. So this is probably the heaviest engine this stand is gonna see. So, yep, real happy with it, how everything turned out. So I guess I'll give you a few ideas on why I built it this way. This piece, actually, there's only 2 bolts down there holding it on, and it can come off. So if you do change a motor or put something else on this, we might be putting one of our Oliver OC6 crawler motors on this. We got a diesel motor. We got one diesel motor. I'd like to get that running again. So we might do that. But anyway, you can either like add to this, because it wouldn't be hard to add tubing to this or whatever. Or, like I said, it comes completely off and you can make a whole new section for supporting, you know, whatever you got. This again here, the hard part's done. These ears are on there, so it's pretty easy to take a piece of pipe or piece of tubing and, you know, make a custom mount. So like I said, the hard part's done. You could really make a piece of tubing to a motor mount really quickly for anything that you're gonna run. So that's my idea on the ears and being able to pull this piece off. There's a lot of adjustability on this up and down, so you could even add an adapter onto this probably to make something work. I'm not too worried about it because I can always make something to run whatever we need to run. The casters, now that they've got weight on them, they roll really good. The 6-inch, they roll all around, if I give this thing a push, it'll just keep rolling. So as far as rolling, they're really awesome. The problem I'm having is the swivel, and I guess it's not that bad. This end here with all the weight, it doesn't like to swivel all that great. This end is lighter, swivels a lot better, but I don't think that's the bearings that's the problem. I think that the poly tread is creating so much friction on the cement floor that is why it doesn't want to swivel. You know, knowing that, I might have went with like all steel wheels for the shop floor here, and I think that would have had a lot less friction in it. I think it would have swiveled better. The poly here, I thought it was, you know, be a little softer, and I guess it would be a good idea if you had a painted floor or something like that, and then it wouldn't have as much friction either, probably spinning. These are supposed to be like non-marking, and I did look it up. They're supposed to be rated for like 1,200 pounds each. But I mean, it does roll really good. It's just the swivel action isn't the best on this heavy end. I think I'm going to replace this end with stationary ones, and then I'll put a handle on the front here in front of the radiator so I can move the lighter end around. I think that's going to work out better. Okay, so now I left these ends open, the front and the back, and the idea of that is I can slide a piece of tubing inside this, and I can slide the radiator support in and out, or even take it off. That's why I left this open. Same in the back here. It's open, so you can add something. Say you want to run a motor with a transmission. I can make a support that comes out of there, or even I'm thinking about putting like an exhaust with some mufflers. So you know, you can take a piece of tubing and you can slide it in there and make a support for whatever you need. That's why I left them open. Otherwise, I would have closed them up so they looked better. But that's the whole reason I built it this way. But I like the height of it. It's I think it's a perfect size, or perfect height to do some work, to adjust valves, mess with the carburetor if you're going to mess with the carburetor here. It's not too high, it's not too low. I think it's a really, really good height. Let me get my tape measure and I'll measure the height of it. Okay, so the top of the intake is 42 inches off the ground. And I like the size of this thing. I thought it might be, you know, kind of big to have an engine stand in the shop, but this thing really isn't that big. I'm pretty happy with it. But I'm right now I'm waiting on parts. I don't have my radiator, so I can't really do that. And yeah, I don't have a few parts, so I'm waiting on parts. So I think I'm gonna end the video here and do this as a part one and do the rest. I'll finish it off in another one. I'll only do 2 parts. I don't want to break this up into a bunch of videos, but Thanksgiving is going to probably mess up shipping, and this could end up going another week before I get this thing finished. So okay, so another thing, that if you're building one, you got to make sure that your engine lift slides underneath this. I got plenty of room with those 6-inch casters, plenty of room to slide the engine hoist under it. But you know, it's something that you might forget about, but you gotta be able to go under that. Otherwise, you can't easily put your motor on the stand. But anyway, guys, I guess that's gonna do it for this one. Look for the next video of this engine stand. should be able to get it completed then. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys.